Sort of with the information that we're now able to gather from people either using the services, interacting with campaigns, it allows the clients that we're licensing to have much more information on maybe why one service might get much better retention in a certain geo than another service. So having that information, I think, given that we've been in the industry so long, our portfolio is so vast because we don't really aggregate content, we aggregate sort of specialist producers, rights holders, things like that internationally. One of the things that we're looking at this year, we've been sort of quite reactive in the past where clients will come to us and say, well, we'd like to launch a kids content or a kids portal or a travel portal, something like that. And we've gone, okay, we have that content and we've delivered that. I think given where things are so much more data driven now, we have so much more information or targeted information about what that consumer wants, who they are, where they're coming from. We're actually looking in terms of flipping that on its head a little bit then and saying, okay, that's fine, you want a cooking channel, but sort of what are the objectives for this service within the territory that you want to launch it from? Is it engagement? Is it increasing subscriber lifespans? Because there's different content types and content sort of genres that help you do that in terms of formats, the way that they're built, the way that they engage the consumer. So if we can actually understand, sort of having been in the industry now for sort of 23 years, what the actual objective is, both commercial and sort of, other metrics like loyalty and things like that, and increasing ROI, I think we can actually serve our clients better in 2024 onwards. So what we believe actually what we can do is turn the model a little bit on its head in 2024 and start asking our clients what are the objectives of the service rather than what kind of service do you think you need, and be able to offer content for those objectives rather than just because the telco asked for it or they asked for it, actually looking at the data and what their objectives are and designing the service based on that. And of course, a lot of people just don't know how vast our network is and how many sort of types of content that we can supply. So of course, we have a brochure that sort of shows bestsellers, things like that. But really, because of the network that we've had and that we've developed over so many years, there's very little that we can't find for somebody. Even to the point we've had clients come to us asking for a specific title because the telco wanted that title, and we've reached out to the network, and in a couple of weeks we've managed to locate that, with them also understanding that mobile is very different from TV, so they're going to need to sort of adapt their expectations to actually make it work for them on this kind of newer medium, not new anymore, but newer medium. Well, that's interesting, and because there's one thing, of course, what sort of exists up to now, where people and producers are actually creating content, editing videos, putting voiceover, writing scripts, and all of that. And even within that scope, there's so many different types of formats that we have, and things from dynamic content, evergreen content, movies to short form interest, and all of that, so we can cover a lot of that. But obviously, given where AI is going to create a sort of unimaginable shift in content creation, I think that sort of almost ties in as well in terms of the metrics. Maybe we can actually start to think and design a new type of content rather than say maybe either trying to create something similar to Netflix or trying to create something similar to TikTok. I think AI is going to give us an opportunity, sort of just, really, I saw this presentation, expand your mind, and you're going to find it pings back after the presentation about AI, because your brain has to expand so much because the possibilities are so out of our realm of reality right now. Well, we've already kind of obviously started, and I think we would have to a couple of years ago to kind of find out how that's going to work. But I think they sort of talk about the first interaction or human interaction with AI was around language, so sort of social media, how creating the algorithm, so you started to sort of see the content that you would engage with more. And I think we've all sort of seen, humans lost on that one really, so now we're going into the second interaction with AI, which is much more content-based. It's much richer. It's now sort of becoming self-learning and things like that. So, if they're talking about 1 billion times more intelligent than the most intelligent human on Earth, We don't have the brain capacity to know what that might mean. But in the interim, there's already things out there where they can take 3 seconds of your voice and not only then carry on with your voice, but actually interpret or predict what you're going to say, so that will carry on your initial 3 seconds. And even to the point where, this is amazing, they actually got people to look, say, so the example they gave was a human looked at a giraffe. They had an MRI on them at that same time. The AI was reading the MRI in terms of the mapping of the brain, and then they said to the AI, recreate what you think the human is looking at, and it was a bloody giraffe. So I think it really is kind of like, if you have that customer base in that country, and the options are limited in terms of how to entertain them, then, well, that's really exciting, right? In terms of, I know there's a lot of scary stuff around AI, but there is going to be, you and I have spoken about this, there is going to be that time where the people who learn how to use it as a tool and incorporate it into making themselves and their business more dynamic will have, will sort of lead the market until such point they destroy us all.